As the old adage goes, two heads are better than one. And when it comes to professional golf, this is certainly the case with the player-caddy relationship. It's one of the most intriguing and key partnerships in sport. There's no other game that allows an athlete to essentially play alongside an advice giver. Hockey and basketball coaches can scream instructions from the sideline, but for a useful conversation, they must call a timeout. And while a caddy is not a coach per se, he or she is often called upon to offer insight and moral support while lugging a heavy golf bag around 18 holes. As tour players will tell you, they spend more time with their caddies than anyone else, well, other than family members, so finding an agreeable sidekick is of utmost importance.
I think a lot of it is in between shots. Sense of humor is kind of when to joke around, when to be serious, but also definitely during shots, you know, picking targets. It's all around. It's a big time relationship. You're spending 8 hours a day usually with, so it means a lot, and to have that communication is a big deal.
You know, when we're at home in Scottsdale, we play golf together. Our wives are, you know, good friends. His wife actually helps watch our kids, helps nanny. So, I mean, he's the kind of guy that I could spend 8 hours with every day and not get sick of him, and I think that's probably the most important thing.
The PGA Tour has seen many solid relationships over the years. Perhaps the most famous duo is Phil Mickelson and Jim McKay, who's popularly known as Bones. They've been together for a quarter of a century.
Yeah, I think I prefer that though. Okay. If it's down, I'll take a little off of it.
Always engaging and admittedly hard-headed when it comes to his aggressive style, Mickelson recently revealed that he gives Bones 1 veto per year. He says the caddy has earned it after so many years of employment.
And the Caddy Player Hall of Fame, yep, right there. No question.
So we wondered, do other PGA Tour stars have the same sort of arrangement?
Not quite. I feel like I don't have those ideas that Phil might have with vetoes, but more so he just say, it's probably not a good idea. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
I mean, I think we like that too when our caddy talks us into it, and you know, I'm worried about this club going long, and he just says, you know, it can't go long, hit as good as you want. And those kind of things too, is you got to feed off of them and let them know, hey, glad you spoke up there. Because if you don't, then they might not speak up, you know, down the road, if you didn't tell them that he gets a veto.
As much fun as golf is to us, it's big business for pros whose livelihoods depend on their performances. And because it's the player who ultimately pulls the trigger on every shot, final decisions usually rest on a gut feeling.
This could be not enough, huh?
Correct.
Still, as evidenced by Mickelson and Bones, and other great partnerships such as Jim Furyk and Mike Fluff Cohen, communication reigns supreme in the very best player-caddy relationships.
You definitely have to have personalities that you can bounce ideas off one or the other. I think if you have two really strong-headed people, it's not great. If you have two people that are used to letting other people make decisions for them, that's not great. So you kind of have to have a little bit of a balance.
I always want his opinion. I don't always take it, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depending on the shot at hand and the situation. But for my guy, Todd Jeswold, we communicate so well in that we're both just trying to find the right answer, and we're not so concerned with if we're right, who's right. We want to get the ball in the hole, and I think that's the main thing you got to have.
Of course, not all marriages are perfect, and there have been several ugly divorces over the years. Take rookie Grayson Murray, who fired his caddy, veteran Steve Hicks, in the middle of a recent round. Hicks carried for the late Payne Stewart during his memorable 1999 U.S. Open triumph.
Payne Stewart is the 1999 U.S. Open champion.
And sometimes the caddy fires the golfer. Take past Masters champion Danny Willett. His longtime friend and caddy John Smart walked away during play after a heated argument. Meanwhile, women's world #1 Lydia Ko has lost more caddies than balls. She is now on the 10th, yes, 10th caddy of her young career after yet another seemingly unnecessary firing. And who can forget Robert Allenby at the 2015 RBC Canadian Open? In a he said charade, Allenby claimed his caddy threatened him on the course. His caddy said Allenby called him fat, and the two parted ways at the turn, with Allenby plucking a lucky fan from the gallery as a replacement.
There's a lot of psychology that goes into being a caddy that people just don't understand. The big thing is understanding the player and what's going to get them fired up, how to make them practice, how to work them, how to tell them when to go home. You know, I mean, there's That's a big part of it, so you don't watch a guy just wear himself out.
Yes, there is no other partnership in sport quite like that of a golfer and his or her caddy. It's part of what makes golf so cool and unique, and it's further proof that when two minds work together as one, greatness can be achieved. Well, most of the time.